YouTube, it looks like we are live. Let me turn up the brightness so I can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Basically, here's the deal. We just got some new equipment. I wanted to go live and test them out. So we're going to see if anybody shows up. Although I have a like, but it doesn't say anybody's watching. That's really curious. 5 likes, yet it doesn't show anybody watching. There it pops up, 16 people watching. Got Mad Bio saying hi. This was our thumbnail girl, little bell we produced. So I wanted to show off that. Here's what we're going to do today. Put her up. This is just going to be a chance for us to test out a new camera mount we have. See how it works for doing some of this live stuff. See what we like. So you guys are going to help me figure this out together. What you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. I'll try to get to some of your comments as much as I can. Although they're going to roll in so fast that I'm not going to be able to get into all of them. I can already tell you. I do have hair. I did see that. Just a little bit left. I didn't throw on a hat today. Oh. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to probably start doing this more often if you guys like this and the mount works. So we're going to do a little blurry. Maybe that's the location. Maybe if I hit it, it'll zoom in. I don't know. I'm using the front camera on a Google Pixel XL. That way I can see what the camera sees and know that I'm actually, seeing what we're doing. Record more often. We're going to always try. And then we're going to do about 15 to 20 minutes here. I'm going to set the timer here in a minute. Clear, it's real bright. Glare. I've got it pretty close to the light, so it'd be better if we came down here and then tilted it up. I think that's probably actually a lot worse. Let's just tilt that back down. Again, that's what we're here for, though, is to figure out what works and what doesn't. So, Tri-Stakes one Amarillo. Yeah, I know it was worse. I'll show you the GTP here in a second. But we're going to do about 15 minutes to 20 minutes here of question and answer. And then I'm going to go to our Patreon and do 15 to 20 minutes on Patreon as well, question and answer. So if you're a Patreon member and you're worried we won't get to your comment, don't worry, because I'm going to go live just for you guys. The rest of you, we're going to try to see what we can see. But like I say, they go so quick, I don't always get a chance to see them. But there is that super chat enabled, so don't be afraid to use that if you choose to. And let's get to a few things I got to get to first. I owe some people some shout-outs. We have some Patreon members who've stepped up to the plate, really helped out. They've been there for about 6 months. So I want to say hi to Amanda Rodriguez, Daniel Cabrera, Jeremy Anschultz, if I said that right. He's actually a local guy. Rick Stewart, Zachary and Victoria Mahoney, Josette Taylor. Josette, you know you've been awesome. And last but certainly not least is Robert Sanchez. So I want to say thanks to all of you for supporting us. Because of you, we're able to do what we do. We're able to buy literally the equipment I'm using to do this is one of the little things we purchased some of that Patreon money. Now, I know somebody asked to see the GTP, so why don't we watch you dealing with a concussion? That's no fun. There is the GTP. It's going to get a lot of reflection. Let me see if I can't open that for you, get some of that reflection gone, and we'll just go up there close and personal. Hopefully it's showing what I want it to show. The thing is doing good. Eats like a beast. We can also do full selfie mode here. That's kind of nice. Banana Inchy Woma. Inchy Spider female. I'd be a little confused, a little worried about the Woma and the spider together. I don't think that's a pairing you want to do, to be honest. So you want to be careful of that. Oh, hold on. Set a timer, otherwise I'll go forever. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
Alright, 15 minutes, starting now.
So you heard Google. So when the timer's up, then I'm going to have to dip out. So let's get them in there. If you want to see something, let me know. The app I use, the app no longer exists. I'm going to actually have to find a new one. We had a guy reach out to us about building our own. I was really excited about that. Some things I'd want to do different than anybody else. But unfortunately, he's lost contact. Any clowns? We have one clown. I'll gladly show you. This is our boy, Trouser. Trouser's always hungry. One of the few that doesn't have a name from the gods, because due to an incubation error, you can see he's missing an eyeball. So that is definitely Trouser. So this is my big one-eyed Trouser snake. Where's Reaper? Reaper's actually in the other room. Reaper is one of 2 display animals we keep. So Reaper, if I get Trouser off my hand there, does not hang out in here. Reaper stays in my living room, which we're going to see a video from there here soon. But we had to cover Reaper when we filmed because he rattled too much. Visual VPI blood boa produced recently. I haven't. The last new boa I saw, I want to say it was on Boxing Boa's channel. He was showing off a pied boa. I don't know if it was his. I think somebody else had produced it. He was just talking about it. Really cool animal though. Okay, how can you buy a snake from me? Well, the best way, Dylan, the best way is definitely through Patreon. Those guys get first dibs on the $5 and up subscription. After that, it's going to be shows, and then we're going to put them online. Right now, we've been sold out for 5 months. It's just the nature of the beast. We do have eggs cooking. I'll show you our next set of eggs I expect to see coming. It's a little dirty in here because I don't mess with them when they're about to lay. But right there, you can see her. You can see how big she is. Hopefully that's showing. I can't see what it's going for. But that is going to be a calico bred to a Blitz. So I'm really excited about that. Yes, if you want to own a venomous snake, here's what I would say. A, get the cage ready first. First and foremost, get your cage ready. Research, research, research. Research the species, research what can happen, make some written rules. And I mean write them down. I have written rules posted on Reaper's cage. You don't see them because where they're set, but they're there. That include hospital numbers, you know, what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, that kind of thing. Definitely, yeah, and more clips. I'll show you the clips in a minute too. That's what we're always looking for. So we want to make sure that, you know, you've got those rules written and you're prepared. If you can find somebody local that can show you handling and all of that, that's also best. Nothing beats some hands-on experience of somebody with some experience. I was fortunate enough to be able to go and learn from a guy on a few weekends a year for a while until I was comfortable enough to get my own. It makes a major difference, okay? Get your tools together and don't cheap out on your cage. After that, I would say get a species that is native to where you're at. The reason being, you know, and I started with a rattlesnake, and that's not always going to be the best for everybody, but if I got bit, it's something that's native to here, plus Kansas says I can only keep native, so there's that. And they're going to be able to treat it easier. If I would have went out and got a license and brought home a gaboon viper and it popped me, nobody's around here is ready for that. So for your first one, make sure it's something that you're ready for. Somebody said albinos. Let me show you. This is one of my favorite albinos. This is a holdback girl. You've seen her before. She's a little dirty. And there's her freckle. She actually has a little dirt on her. More dirt on her. God, you've been rolling into the substrate. But she has a freckle spot right there. If it's showing up, it looks like a mite, but it's not. It's a freckle. But very high contrast. This is a holdback we produced. I absolutely adore this snake. Just beautiful. Hopefully next year she'll be ready to breed. That's not her cage. Make sure I get her the right one. Exanthic live. You want to see a beautiful Exanthic? Alright. You know I'm never going to say no to a chance to show off Zeus. Let me go find him. Here he is. Let's see how my boy's doing, shall we? Come here. This is, of course, everybody knows my favorite snake right there. Just gorgeous. And he is everything I could have wanted in that morph. You know, he's getting the silver, the gray in, you know, with the white now and the black, and eventually we'll turn this all to white. It's just going to have to take some time and some projects, but this is what got me started. You know, everybody knows the story of that. Frankly, up to temp some humidity a bit. I'm sure you're giving advice to somebody, but I don't know what about. So, yeah, probably on a non-eating thing. It depends. Humidity can play a big role in feeding, so you definitely want to keep some humidity in there. You know, and I missed about 37 things. The Pompeii, your guess is what it is. I have to look at it more. I saw the video on the Pompeii and the magma, but I'll be honest, I didn't really try to dig into it. I think my guess was something with a leopard as well, but it's just a guess. So, and plus I know JKR likes to play with the leopard. So any tips for someone thinking of starting a reptile channel? Yes, Joey, be yourself. You know, if you go on here and you do something the same way that everybody else does it, you know, when I first started, Brian Barczyk, that was a big name. And if I went in there and I tried to be Brian Barczyk, and I tried to do Snake Bites TV, and I tried to be him, I would fail because he already exists, right? So you got to go on there, and you got to be who you are. You got to do it your way and be yourself on camera. And then you also have to develop a thick skin. Fortunately, me being a law enforcement, not a problem. I've been called every name in the book because you're going to have haters. You just are. I'll probably have some in here. Am I hiring? Dude, I'm not. I don't even make enough to pay me yet. We honestly don't make very much money doing this. We make very, very, very little, you know, and the only reason we make any at all is we've been very fortunate with social media. So the YouTube helps us a little bit. The YouTube is literally the only money curtain I've ever made. The Patreon goes to run the business, buy new stuff, buy new equipment, grow what we're doing, and then of course snake sales do the same. So I can't get behind that guy. That's all right, Al. That's up to you. I mean, I've talked to him. He's a great guy. I ain't got no problem. But what I'm saying when I mentioned him wasn't to get behind him or not. It's simply that you can't go try to be somebody else. You can't try to be him. You can't try to be Cusco. You can't try to be me. If you want to do this, you got to be you. Do it your way. And that's how I think people are going to make that connection with you. So how do you order from me? Right now you don't, which is really sad. We've literally been sold out since probably October-ish. Patreon will get first dibs on everything and a lot of specials. We put him up. I know somebody asked about a clit, so I'll pull her out too. But Facebook will be the way to do it whenever we have babies that aren't on Patreon or going to a show. So, does somebody do it? There's a super chat. You rock. Thank you. I try. I appreciate that, and we always appreciate the donations. Although, Tim, thank you so much, buddy, but you don't have to do that because you're on Patreon. You're going to get some time with me anyway, but I do appreciate it greatly. Since I remember the clips being mentioned, let me show that to you here. She got a little bit of shed on her. Did you just shed out and got a little bit of stuck? But not too bad. I'll have to give her a soak later. But this snake is just amazing. And I need to submit her still. She is, as far as we know, the only one that we know exists. I actually wanted two, but we produced both of them. You see a little bit of that reptile prime on her there. What I really like is the belly. The orange is completely in the belly. It's just crazy how she came out. And we're hoping to produce some more of these this year. And if we do, we're going to sell them. The reason we're repeating that clutch is because there was a lot of variance in the two we produced. So what I want to do is kind of see, when we do it again, what we get, and is this more the norm, or was the other one that was a lot less expression more the norm, and kind of figure out what's happening there. So that's going to be kind of my goal, is what is really a Calitz? Is this it, or is it something different? So beautiful. Best of luck to make more. We should. I hope we hit more. We hit 2 last year, you know. So, yeah, and I agree it wouldn't be the same without him. He made people like me. I mean, he pushed this up, and that can't be stated enough. Agree with everything he does? I'm not saying you have to, but you have to also understand how some of those people, you know, he brought the YouTube market. Other people made a huge contribution that don't get any credit either, not to YouTube, but to Reptiles. Greg Graziani, that's a guy, and I got a special spot for Greg Graziani because he's another cop too, down there in Florida, who, you know, started the Pastel Project, the original Graziani Pastels. You know, that was such a huge contribution to what ball pythons became, and that's a name that nobody kicks around too much, but unless you're down there, I mean, he's still a big breeder. But there's a lot of people that paved that way, and we wouldn't be the same. Thanks again. We love watching. Hey, I appreciate you, Christopher, a ton. That means a lot. That, you know, that all helps out because that's what really kind of funds us. So thank you so much. And then it's going so quick here. When is the zoo going to open? Hopefully soon. You know, Rob's construction. And it's not, when I say zoo, I want to make sure we're not falsely advertising what we're building. It's not going to be a 37-acre zoo. It's going to be a small reptile serpentarium type thing. Probably about 45 exhibits, give or take. It may expand over time, depending on how it goes and how it does. So it just kind of depends, right? But it is coming. Right now it's in construction. Cages are being made. I just sent the applications in for the license for the exotic Venomous just a few days ago. So waiting on them to come, view the cages, come back, see what it goes, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of where that is going. Where do you think of the conservation programs in the future? It's hard to say what the future is going to hold. I mean, you know, conservation is such a touchy thing because you got people on this end who are all the way, we should never do X, Y, or Z, and people over here think we should have it all, and the answer lies somewhere in the middle. You know, I look at Kansas, and I say Kansas does a pretty good job on animals, specifically deer. And what I mean is Kansas manages a deer population, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So I see the reptiles kind of going the same way to some extent, where if all the hunting license or things like that, if there was a little bit of extra kick in there to kind of maintain those populations, know what was there, know what should be protected, what shouldn't be protected. And, you know, if you're going to take things from the wild, have limits on what you could take. If the species needs that to ensure the numbers, I'd be okay with all that. You know, I would. I'd be okay with people had to pay a little more, you know, if to go out and herp, if they were going to collect something, to have people studying the populations to make sure the numbers were good. That's where I'd like to see it go in the future, but who knows, you know, so that's kind of where that is. All right, let's go with some questions. Another animal you want to see, let me know. We're in the middle of breeding. We can show you some of that too. Why do you put your probes in the tub and not on the heat tape? Well, good question. And the reason I started doing that is very simple. Where do you want to control the temperature? I don't really give a crap what the temperature of my tape is. It doesn't matter. If my tape's 80 or 110, it's pointless unless the tub's correct. So since I want to monitor at the tub, that's where I place my probes. The reason people on Facebook get all assed up and say you shouldn't do that is if that that probe gets moved in the tub, then all of a sudden, your heat's not going to be monitored, it's not going to be spiked. So what we do, that's not one I want to use. That one's one we put some rats in for a while when we were feeding. Here's a nice clean one. This is a completely empty tub. So what I'm going to do when I go to do this is I'm going to put a hole right back here. I'm going to put the probe in there where it's going to fit pretty tight. I'm going to put some small holes here and run some zip ties to lock it down in place inside right here, which is right over the heat. That's where I want to maintain temperature. That's what I need to know is on point. That way if my room changes a few degrees up or down, this is still going to take us a little bit. You want to see my balls? Showed a few of them. And hey, guess what? Question Girl just walked in the room. So if you got anything for her, feel free to ask her questions as well. I'm from Arkansas as well. Somebody from Arkansas? I'm not from Arkansas, but I spent a lot of time there as a kid. And Question Girl actually are getting married on May 27th in Arkansas. So that's going to be pretty cool. Has sausage butt is around the butt, not the tail though. Well, the red isn't necessarily a good sign. What I would suggest is a lukewarm soak for that ball python. What you're hoping to do is soften the stool, and it'll probably blow ass all over in there and then go back to normal. That's probably what's causing that, be my bet. So yeah, Superfire stay white. I've heard of it, and they can. I think if you kick more genes in there, you'll probably have a better luck of keeping them all white. But most of them do get a little bit of yellow. Glad you caught me live as well. So we don't have any Superfires. Do I have any GHI? I do. Let me see what he is doing right now. He might be busy. He's actually in this tub. He's not busy. This is our GHI male. This is our only GHI we keep right now. He's been breeding to several females, so we're going to have GHI very soon available. We've already got one set of eggs, which is GHI to Mojave. There's another GHI to Mojave going, and so yeah, it'll also be a GHI to normal. All the GHI to normals will be released on Patreon though. Something about opening. How many Candinos? You are in luck. Here, go breed, buddy. I do have a Candino. Ever been out of America? I have been out of America, but not too frequently. I need to travel more. I just haven't had the chance to do it. You're in there tight. I cannot wait for this rack to go away. I'm telling you guys. And it is going away. This is our Candino male. He was produced by Tall Grass Reptiles. You can really see, hopefully the lavender's coming out in there pretty well. Really pretty snake. So I really dig him. Graham to the zoo. We'll definitely do some stuff on the zoo, I promise. So somebody just texted me, how do you comment when watching live? You just, I don't know, I guess you do it. Hey Curtis, camera guy Kurt's in the crowd, so make sure and say hi to him. Way to show up at the end there, dude. Do I have any cows? I don't have any cows. We don't keep any retics here at home. The reason isn't because I don't like retics. We've got some at the shop. It's just simply the size of them. I can run like this, tons of ball python racks, and this is going to be expanded clear over to there. Say hi! And all the way through to the back wall. There's a cart python going crazy in the front. Okay, Google, stop the timer. And so I can run that many ball pythons, right? If I had retics, it'd be such a smaller number simply because of the fact that they're so damn big. If I'm going to keep them right, I can't do that. All right, last question I see is going to be the blackhead stuff. So we're going to answer that, and then I'm going to have to move on because you heard the timer dinging. But don't worry. If you guys like this, comment when the video's done. Say more of that shit, and we'll do more of it. We don't currently have any blackheads, but you guys know that Tall Grass Reptiles, Reed and Eric, those dudes, well, Eric's in Alabama now, but Reed's right there in Kansas City just down the road, and they're heavy into blackhead, which means that eventually they'll probably talk me into buying one. I just haven't done it yet. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye from me. Bye from Question Girl. And we will see you all later. Maybe, if I can stop that thing. This is what I can never figure out. How in the world? More of that shit. I'm with you. I'm going to be on here for a few more minutes till I figure out how to shut this thing off. Wait, is that it? No. I said stop. There we go. Goodbye, all.